What if I told you that there's a weapon in America's arsenal so advanced it can see the enemy before the enemy even knows it's there? A fighter jet that doesn't just dominate the skies, it dominates the entire battlefield from the air, land, and sea. We're not talking about science fiction here, folks. We're talking about the F-35 Lightning II, the most sophisticated, most controversial, and frankly, the most game-changing fighter jet ever built. But here is what the Pentagon does not want you to know. This jet has a capability so classified, it could rewrite the rules of modern warfare overnight. Welcome to Titan Horizon, the place where we dive deep into the world's most advanced air technology. Stick with me, because what you are about to discover will change how you see modern warfare forever. This is not just another military hardware review. This is the untold story of how one aircraft is reshaping global power dynamics. Let us start with what makes the F-35 truly unique. It is not one aircraft, but three completely different beasts wearing the same skin. First up, the F-35A. This is your classic Air Force workhorse. Conventional takeoff and landing. The everyman of the fleet, if you will. But do not let that conventional label fool you. There is nothing ordinary about this bird. Then comes the F-35B, the Marine Corps' pride and joy. This thing can land vertically. I am talking helicopter-style landing in the middle of a jungle, on a small island, or honestly, in your backyard if needed. It is like having a sports car that can also park on a dime. But the real showstopper, the F-35C, designed specifically for aircraft carriers, with larger wings and tougher landing gear. This thing launches off a carrier using a catapult and stops using a wire, all while dealing with the harsh, salty ocean environment. Here is the kicker. All three variants share about 80% of their parts. It is like having a sedan, an SUV, and a sports truck that all use the same engine and electronics. That is not just smart engineering. That is logistical genius. And get this, 1 hour of F-35 flight costs more than what the average American makes in 6 months. Let that sink in for a moment. Now, let's rewind a bit. Back in the 1990s, the military realized we needed something that could do it all. Air combat, ground attacks, reconnaissance, you name it. The result? The Joint Strike Fighter program, which eventually became our F-35. What's really cool is how they designed 3 versions from one base design. It's like how Ford makes both pickup trucks and sports cars using similar engines and parts. The F-35A for the Air Force takes off from regular runways. The F-35B for the Marines can land vertically, like a helicopter. And the F-35C for the Navy has bigger wings for aircraft carrier operations. This was not just smart engineering. It was genius logistics. All 3 versions share about 80% of their parts, which makes maintenance and training so much easier. Folks, the engineering behind this thing is wild. We're talking about a Pratt & Whitney F-135 engine that produces 43,000 pounds of thrust. That's like strapping a rocket to your car and then doubling it. But here's what really blows my mind. The thermal management system. This jet generates so much heat from its systems that it needs what's essentially a miniature power plant just to keep cool. It's like your gaming PC needing liquid cooling, but on steroids. The carbon fiber composites are so advanced that they make the airframe lighter than aluminum, but stronger than steel.
My name is Jason Roscoe. I work at Fleet Readiness Center Southeast. I work on the F-135's high pressure compressor rotor. That is literally the heart of the engine itself. The Fleet Readiness Center Southeast team is everything. We make sure everything is good to go. That way that pilot gets in that seat in the air and get home safely.
It's not just building a plane, it's reinventing physics. Now let us talk about what really sets the F-35 apart. And I am not talking about stealth or weapons. I am talking about its brain. The F-35 has something called sensor fusion. And no, that is not some marketing buzzword. It is a revolutionary system that takes information from all the aircraft's sensors and combines them into one coherent picture. Imagine you are trying to solve a puzzle with 6 different friends, each holding different pieces. The F-35's sensor fusion is like having one genius friend who takes all those pieces and solves the puzzle in seconds. The pilot does not see individual radar screens, infrared displays, or electronic warfare readouts. They see one integrated picture that says, "Hey, there is an enemy aircraft here, a missile battery there, and by the way, that commercial airliner over there is just minding its own business." It is like having the ultimate situational awareness. The aircraft does the heavy lifting of processing information, while the pilot focuses on making decisions. In combat, seconds matter, and the F-35 gives its pilots those precious seconds. But here is the shocking part. While everyone praises the F-35, there is one vulnerability against China's J-20 that the Air Force does not want to talk about. It is the elephant in the room that could change Pacific dominance overnight. Now, let us address the elephant in the room, the cost. Because when we are talking about a program that could eventually cost $1.7 trillion over its lifetime, we need to have an honest conversation. Yes, you heard that right. Trillion with a T. To put that in perspective, that is more than the entire GDP of most countries. So what exactly are we getting for that kind of money? Critics will tell you it is the most expensive weapon system in history. Supporters will tell you it is the best value for money when you consider what it replaces. The truth? It is probably somewhere in between. But here is what most people do not understand about defense spending. It is not just about buying equipment. It's about maintaining technological superiority. It is about ensuring that when our pilots go into harm's way, they have the best possible tools to come home safely. As one F-35 pilot told me, "You cannot put a price tag on coming home to your family." That same pilot shared something that will give you chills. When you are flying the Lightning II, you are not just operating a machine. You are becoming part of a system that sees everything, knows everything, and can strike anything. It is like having a superpower that very few people on Earth will ever experience. What is perhaps most surprising about the F-35 is not its technology or its cost. It is how it has become a global phenomenon. We are not just talking about NATO allies here. We are talking about Japan, South Korea, Israel, Australia, and soon even Germany and Switzerland. These are not countries that buy American equipment just to be friendly. They are making strategic decisions based on capability. And here is where it gets really interesting. The F-35 is creating what defense analysts call an interoperability advantage. When multiple countries operate the same advanced aircraft, they can work together seamlessly in coalition operations. An Israeli F-35 can share data with a British F-35, which can coordinate with an American F-35, all without saying a word. That is not just military cooperation. That is a fundamental shift in how allied air forces operate together. Behind all this technology and controversy are the men and women who fly and maintain these incredible machines. Flying the F-35 is not like flying traditional aircraft. The helmet alone costs $400,000 and projects information directly onto the pilot's visor. They can literally look through the floor of the aircraft using cameras mounted underneath. One pilot described it to me as being the aircraft rather than just flying it. The line between human and machine blurs in ways that were unimaginable just a generation ago. And let us not forget the maintainers, the unsung heroes who work through the night to keep these birds in the air. Because the most advanced fighter in the world is useless if it cannot fly. Here is a military secret they have been hiding. The F-35 has a dead man's switch that allows it to continue fighting for 30 minutes, even if the pilot is eliminated. That is not science fiction. That is tomorrow's warfare today. So how does the F-35 compare to other aircraft? Well, let's put it this way. It's like comparing a latest generation iPhone to one of those old flip phones. Both can make calls, but one can do about 1,000 other things too. And when we look at European competitors like the Eurofighter Typhoon, they're amazing dogfighters, but lack the F-35's multi-role versatility. It's like having a master chef who can only make one amazing dish versus one who can run the whole restaurant. Now let's talk about its other superpower, stealth. This isn't sci-fi invisibility. It's about being a ghost on enemy radar. Think of radar like a kid with a flashlight in a dark room. A regular plane is like a shiny bicycle reflector. The light hits it and bounces right back. The F-35 is designed to be the ultimate stealth shape. Its body is made of flat, angled panels that scatter that radar light in a million different directions, so very little of it ever makes it back to the enemy receiver. They just see a blip the size of a bird. But the shape is only half the story. The whole jet is coated in special radar-absorbent material, or RAM. It's this advanced coating that soaks up the radar energy instead of reflecting it, kind of like how black paint soaks up light. Even the seams where the panels fit together are like razor-sharp, perfectly aligned puzzle pieces to eliminate cracks that could reflect radar. And they thought of everything. Even the cockpit canopy has a microscopic, invisible layer of gold that stops radar waves from getting inside and bouncing off all the knobs and switches in the cockpit. Every single detail, from the shape of the air inlets to the way the weapons are stored internally, is meticulously crafted for one purpose: to disappear. This lets the F-35 slip into the most heavily defended airspace, do its job, and get out before the enemy even knows what hit them. Older jets like the F-16 need about 20 maintenance hours for every flight hour. The F-35? They've got it down to under 10 and heading to 5. That means more time in the air, less time in the hangar. What's coming next will make today's F-35 look basic. We're talking about Block 4 upgrades that include what pilots call combat iPhone features, regular software updates that add new capabilities overnight. The TR-3 hardware update is like giving the jet a brain transplant, 25 times more processing power. But the real game changer is the laser weapons they're testing. Imagine taking out enemy missiles at the speed of light without ever running out of ammunition. They're even working on cooperative engagement, where multiple F-35s can control drone swarms, like a quarterback calling plays. It's not just upgrading a plane, it's creating an entirely new way of fighting. The global F-35 network is creating what defense experts call the F-35 Alliance. When Turkey was kicked out of the program for buying Russian systems, it wasn't just about losing jets. They lost access to the entire intelligence network. That's how tight this web is. Meanwhile, countries like Switzerland, choosing the F-35 over European options, sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles. It's not just about buying American. It's about joining an exclusive club where everyone speaks the same tactical language. The F-35 has become the ultimate diplomatic tool, creating bonds between nations that go far beyond traditional alliances. As we bring this journey to a close, let us remember what the F-35 truly represents. It is not just a collection of metal, wires, and computer chips. It is a statement that America intends to maintain its technological edge, a statement that when it comes to protecting our allies and interests, we are willing to push the boundaries of what is possible. The F-35 Lightning II may be controversial. It may be expensive, but one thing is certain: it is changing the game. And in the world of air combat, if you are not moving forward, you are falling behind. If this deep dive into one of America's most incredible weapons systems got you thinking, do me a solid. Hit that like button if you learned something new today. Subscribe if you want more uncensored military analysis. and share this with someone who needs to understand where modern warfare is really headed. This is not just the future of air combat. This is the future, today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.